Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, the TripAdo Traveler. I'm going to explore the world and I hope you come along for the ride. When I was about 5 years old, my dad took me to his work. He was a truck driver and he would drive all over the country. And sometimes he would do really short trips that were about a day long. And it was okay with his work to take me along with him. So we drove in to New York City. We went all over the place and I had a blast. It was probably one of the most memorable experiences I had from childhood. And the thing about it was I really liked going to different places and seeing different things, but being able to go home. And that was the spark of traveling for me. About a year later, the whole family went to Disneyland, or actually Disney World, I'm sorry, in Florida. And we drove from New Jersey, and it took about 2.5 days, and we'd drive for a few hours, stop at some place, explore, and then get back on the road and drive a little bit more. When we finally got there, we spent like 2 or 3 days at the park, and that was a blast too, obviously for a kid. And then we drove home. And I think those two experiences were probably the most influential in my desire to want to travel and see new things. So when I got older, about teenager years, when I was got my license, me and my friends would take a summer trip every year to a different amusement park, usually several hundred miles away from our home. And the fun part about it was just us. We didn't have any parents. So we got to pick where we're going, we got to plan out the trip, and we did it all by ourselves. And we did that every year, even through college, actually. When I finished college, I wanted to see the world. So I decided to join the Navy. And that's exactly what I did. Saw most of the Pacific, and it's big and it's blue, but I did see a lot of Asia. I've been to a bunch of different countries. I've seen a lot of different things. And since then, I've wanted to travel even more. After the Navy, I went to Mexico, I went to Peru, I went to a lot of different countries in the Caribbean, and I plan on keep going and seeing as many foreign countries as I possibly can. However, another good thing about travel is it doesn't have to be international. I live in California, and there's a lot of different things to see around here. Usually, within an hour or two drive, you can be to the desert, to the ocean, to mountains, to valleys. There's so much to do around here. Not only that, Colorado, um, Arizona, Nevada, they're all pretty close. So seeing things in that area as well is quite doable. So what I plan to do is to record all of my trips and try to make it as interesting and fun and entertaining as possible. And hopefully you guys can see what it's like to go to different places and maybe you can share what you've experienced as well. And every trip that I go on, maybe we'll both learn something new about the area, about what it's like to be there and how it's like to travel and to get back. And most of all, hopefully we can have fun with it. Okay, so I thought it would be cool if we could just talk a little bit about the places I've gone and maybe show you some pictures so you can see that I've actually been there. But I think it's really cool to just, explore different places, even if they're close at home. So the first few pictures that I'm sharing, you can see that I'm in Borrego Springs, up on the cliffs right before you come down into the valley. And that's pretty amazing, especially when you go during a super bloom, which is usually I think about in March or April, depending on the growing season. Um, and what happens is there's a bloom of flowers in the desert. It's actually pretty amazing. And closer at home, there's in Carlsbad, California, a place where they have a lot of different flowers. You can actually see it from the highway, where it's just a rainbow of colors. It's actually pretty impressive. When you get to stop and walk among the flowers, it's even more beautiful. And what's even more impressive about that is that it just smells so amazing because there's so many different types of flowers. Other than that, other places I've gone to, Surf Ranch in Lamora, California. So all you surfers out there, if you've ever been interested in going there, I've actually been there several times. So ask me down in the comments what it's like. I can give you some information about that. I've been to San Francisco a few times and I've managed to take some pretty good pictures. Obviously, the Golden Gate Bridge is a wonderful place to just be, but for photo opportunities, you can really get some picturesque and beautiful pictures, especially if you're looking for it in the springtime with all of the flowers blooming. You'll just get something amazing. There's a lot of different things to do in San Francisco, and also just south of San Francisco, you got San Jose, and I've been to the Winchester House, which is probably one of the weirder places you could possibly go. If you don't know anything about it, check it out. I'll put some links down below about it. It's one of those places, it's hard to define. It's a huge mansion that just experienced decades of continuous construction. There are rooms to nowhere. There are strangely shaped rooms. The whole house is just difficult to describe if you've never seen it. So it's interesting and it's worth going to look at. I've also gone to the Caribbean, as I've mentioned before, and there are so many different islands and so many different views, so many different things to see. You could spend years and years exploring each island. One of the most impressive things that I did, or at least most memorable, was doing a road trip on St. Thomas with one of my best friends. We just basically circumnavigated the entire island, and it only took a day, but that was actually pretty fun. There are other places that I've gone to right here in California, just driving up into Riverside County, northeast of Hemet. There's some back roads that are just really, really beautiful, picturesque. You can see mountains, vistas that are just unbelievable, snow-capped mountains that are in the background. They seem really close, but they're actually pretty far away because they're so tall. And there's opportunities for photo ops and just experiencing nature in a way that you don't really get in a big city. So if it's something interesting that you're looking for, there's definite places in California that aren't so urbanized. I think one of the most crowning jewels of travel that I've done was get to Peru and see Machu Picchu. It's just breathtaking. It's hard to describe in words that give it justice. Even the pictures that I have, they just pale in comparison to what it's really like. If you don't like heights, which I don't, it can be a little difficult because there's some spots where it's just like you can look down and see 1,000-foot drop, and it's just scary. But even then, there's just so much to see and there's so much to take in. It's not just the views. There's a certain type of energy there that is also hard to describe, but it's so rejuvenating. There's just this feeling of being with nature because of where it is and how it's situated. And there's a lot to learn about it. There's so much that you don't know. When you get there, you go on a tour, they tell you a bunch of stuff. It's actually pretty interesting. They show you stuff. There's actually opportunities to go explore further than just on the tour if you have the time and you can pay for the actual extras. But it's definitely worth going. And I know not everybody's going to be able to get to Peru or to other countries far away, but if you have the opportunity, take it. And if you have to save for years to make it happen, definitely would take the time. So that's actually just a little bit of a taste of where I've been and what I've done, and I'm going to share everything that I possibly can in upcoming videos. I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas. Obviously I just started out, so I'm totally new at this and I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert, but suggestions for improvement, ideas, definitely love to try out new things. Not just where to go and what to do, but how to present it on the episodes so that we can appreciate it even better. So can't wait to keep working on this and upload different types of videos. I was thinking that it might be cool to upload certain other types of videos, like point of views, if I go scuba diving or skiing or surfing or ride my motorcycle or something like that. If that's interesting, let me know. I'll give it a try and see how that works out too. So just thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time. If you could like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.